Hello, and welcome back to the Everyday English Podcast. I am your host, Sarah, and I am so happy to be here with you today for another deep dive into real-life English. And joining me today, as always, is my co-host, Mark. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Sarah, and hello, everyone listening. I am really excited about today's episode. You know, Sarah, last time we talked all about getting ready for a road trip. We talked about packing the trunk, getting the snacks, making the playlist, and filling up the gas tank. It was a very happy, positive episode because we were getting ready for a vacation.
That is right, Mark. We learned phrases like hitting the road and filling up the tank. But Mark, let's be honest for a second. Real life is not always a perfect vacation. Sometimes things go wrong. Sometimes the car stops working. Sometimes you get a flat tire in the middle of nowhere. And if you are doing a road trip in an English-speaking country, like the United States, the UK, or Australia, having a car problem can be very scary if you do not know the right words to say.
Exactly. It is one thing to know how to order a coffee. It is a completely different thing to know how to explain to a mechanic that your engine is making a strange smoke, or to tell a police officer that you are lost. The vocabulary is different, and the pressure is much higher. So today, we are going to look at the other side of the road trip. We are going to teach you the English you need for road trip emergencies. This is the English that keeps you safe and saves you money.
I love that. We are moving from the dream of travel to the reality of travel. So imagine this. You are driving down the highway. The music is playing. You are happy. But then suddenly, you see a light turn on your dashboard. Mark, first of all, can we define dashboard for our listeners?
Sure. The dashboard is the panel in front of the driver. It is where you see your speed, how much gas you have, and the temperature of the car. It is called the dashboard. And on the dashboard, there are many little symbols that light up. We call these warning lights.
Right, warning lights. Now, the most common one, and the one that scares people the most, is the check engine light. It is usually orange or yellow, and it looks like the outline of a car engine. Mark, if you see the check engine light, what do you say? Do you scream?
Well, I might scream inside my head, but in English, we usually say something like, the check engine light just came on. Notice the phrasal verb there, came on. We do not say the light opened or the light started. We say the light came on.
That is a great point. The light came on. Now, usually, if the light is yellow or orange, it means you should check it soon, but you can usually keep driving for a little bit. But what if the light is red, or if it is flashing? If it is flashing, that is bad. Flashing means the light is turning on and off very quickly. Blink, blink, blink. If the check engine light is flashing, or if you see a red light like the oil pressure light or the battery light, you need to stop immediately. The phrase we use for stopping the car on the side of the road is to pull over. To pull over. That is such an important phrasal verb. To pull over means to move your car to the side of the road and stop. You do not just stop in the middle of the highway. You pull over to the shoulder. The shoulder is the strip of concrete or grass on the side of the road where emergency vehicles stop. So you might say to your passenger, I need to pull over. The engine light is flashing.
Exactly. And once you pull over, you should turn on your hazard lights. Depending on where you are from, you might call these your emergency lights or your flashers. But in the US and the UK, we often call them hazard lights or just hazards. You might say, put your hazards on so other cars can see us.
Okay, so we have pulled over, we are safe on the shoulder. Now we need to figure out what is wrong. This is where language learners often struggle. They just say, the car is broken. And while that is true, it does not help the mechanic know what the problem is. We need to be more specific. We need to use our senses. What do you hear? What do you smell? What do you feel?
Let's start with sounds. Cars make very specific noises when they are sick. One common sound is a squeaking noise. Squeaking is a high-pitched sound, like a mouse, eek, eek, eek. If you hear this when you press the brakes, you would tell the mechanic, my brakes are squeaking, or my brakes are squealing.
Squeaking or squealing, good ones. What about a lower, heavier sound, like metal hitting metal?
We often call that a grinding sound, to grind, G-R-I-N-D. It sounds rough, like rocks rubbing together. If you hear that, it is usually bad. You might say, I hear a loud grinding noise when I turn the wheel, or the gears are grinding. That is a very useful word to be specific.
What about if something is loose, like a piece of metal hitting another piece of metal rhythmically? Clunk, clunk, clunk. We call that a clunking noise, or sometimes a thumping noise if it is deeper. For example, if you have a flat tire, you might hear a thumping sound. Thump, thump, thump. So you could say, there is a clunking sound coming from the back of the car. Okay, so we have squeaking, grinding, and clunking. What about how the car feels? Sometimes the car does not sound bad, but it drives badly. Right. A very common problem is when the steering wheel tries to turn by itself. We call this pulling. You would say, the car is pulling to the right, or the car is pulling to the left. This means you have to fight the steering wheel to keep the car straight. This is very dangerous, and you definitely need to tell the mechanic. The car is pulling to one side. Another feeling is vibration. The car is shaking. We say, the steering wheel is vibrating, or the whole car is shaking when I drive fast. And one more good word for feelings is sluggish. S-L-U-G-G-I-S-H, like a slug. A slug is that little slow animal that looks like a snail without a shell. If your car is sluggish, it means it accelerates very slowly. You step on the gas pedal, but the car does not want to go. You would say, the engine feels really sluggish. That is excellent vocabulary. Sluggish. It is slow and has no power. Okay, so imagine this scenario. You have pulled over on the shoulder. Your hazards are on. The car is making a clunking noise, and it smells like burning rubber. You cannot drive it. You are stranded. Sarah, what does stranded mean? Stranded is a feeling of being stuck with no way to leave. If you are stranded, you cannot get home. You are stuck on the side of the road. When you call for help, this is a powerful word to use because it tells people that you are in an emergency. You say, "Help, I am stranded on the highway." So you are stranded. You need to call roadside assistance. In the US, this might be AAA, usually called AAA, or maybe you have insurance that covers towing. But when you call them, you are going to talk to a dispatcher. A dispatcher is the person who answers the phone and sends help. They are going to ask you some difficult questions, and you need to be ready. The hardest question they will ask is, "Where are you?" Now, if you are in a city, you can give a street address. But on a road trip, you are often on a long highway with nothing around. You cannot say, "I am next to a tree." There are trees everywhere. You need to use highway markers. Yes, on most major highways in English-speaking countries, there are small green signs every mile. These are called mile markers. They have numbers on them. So when the dispatcher asks for your location, you look for the nearest small green sign. You would say, "I am on Interstate 95, near mile marker 140. That is perfect. But let's say you cannot see a mile marker. You need to use relative location. You need to use words like past and before. For example, I just went past exit 25, or I am about 5 miles past the big rest stop. And direction is important too. Are you going north, south, east, or west? The dispatcher needs to know which side of the highway you are on. So a full location report sounds like this. I am on I-95 southbound, about 2 miles past exit 40. Let's try a little role play, Mark. I will be the dispatcher from roadside assistance, and you are the stranded driver. Ready? I am ready. I'm nervous, but I am ready. Okay, ring ring. Roadside assistance, this is Sarah. Are you in a safe location? Yes, I am pulled over on the shoulder. My hazards are on. Okay, great. What seems to be the problem with your vehicle? Well, the engine just died. It won't start again. And there was a lot of smoke coming from the hood. I see. And do you know your location? Yes, I am on Highway 101 going northbound. I passed the exit for Santa Barbara about 10 minutes ago. I think I am near mile marker 98. Okay, I have located you. I am sending a tow truck now. It should be there in 45 minutes. Thank you so much. And scene. That was great, Mark. There were a few really important phrases in there. First, you said the engine died. That is very common slang for when the engine stops working completely. We don't say the engine passed away like a person. We just say it died. And then I said it won't start. This is a grammar point I want to highlight. Why did I say it won't start instead of it isn't starting? That is a great question. We use won't when something refuses to work. It implies that the car is being stubborn. It is refusing your command. My car won't start. My key won't turn. The door won't open. It feels like the object is saying no to you. Exactly. So the tow truck comes. A tow truck is the big truck that picks up your car. The driver takes you to a mechanic. Now, this is the part where many people get nervous about money. Mechanics can be expensive, and if you don't speak English well, you might be afraid they will trick you. That is a valid fear, so you need to know the right questions to ask to protect yourself. When you arrive at the mechanic shop or the garage, you should explain the problem again using the sensory words we learned. Then you need to ask for a diagnosis.
A diagnosis is when the mechanic checks the car to find the specific problem. But be careful. Sometimes they charge money just to look at the car. This is called a diagnostic fee. So before they touch your car, you can ask, "Do you charge a diagnostic fee?" That is a money-saving question right there. Do you charge a diagnostic fee? Once they find the problem, they will tell you what needs to be fixed. But before you say yes, you must ask for an estimate or a quote. An estimate or a quote. These words mean a guess of how much it will cost, but you want it to be formal. So you say, "Can you give me a written estimate?" If it is written down, they cannot change the price easily later. And usually, the cost is divided into two parts: parts and labor. Parts are the physical pieces of metal or plastic they need to buy. Labor is the cost of the mechanic's time. Sometimes the parts are cheap, but the labor is expensive because it takes 5 hours to fix. So you can ask, how much is parts and how much is labor? Another really good question to ask, especially if you are on a road trip and you don't have much money, is this urgent or can it wait? Sometimes a mechanic will find 5 things wrong with your car, but maybe only one thing is stopping you from driving. If you ask, "Is this urgent?" you are asking if you absolutely need to fix it today to be safe. Right. Maybe the air conditioner is broken. That is uncomfortable, but it is not urgent. You can drive home with the windows down and fix it later. But if the brakes are broken, that is urgent. You cannot drive. Now, let's talk about time. You are on a road trip. You have hotel reservations. You do not want to live at the garage. You need to know when you can leave. But do not just ask, "When will it be done?" That is okay, but a better phrase is, "What is the turnaround time?" Turnaround time. That sounds very professional. It means the total time from dropping the car off to picking it up. But if that is too hard to remember, just be direct. Ask, "Will it be ready today?" Or, "How long will I be stuck here?" Using the word stuck is very natural. It shows you are frustrated and you want to leave. Okay, let's do another mini role play, Sarah. You be the mechanic this time. I am the customer who is worried about the price. Okay, I will be the mechanic. So, sir, we looked at your car. It looks like your radiator is cracked and you need a new water pump. Oh, wow, that sounds serious. Is it safe to drive? No, absolutely not. If you drive it, the engine will overheat and you will destroy the whole car. Okay, I understand. Can you give me an estimate for the repair? Sure. It's going to be about $500 for the parts and $300 for labor, so about $800 total. $800? That is a lot. Can I get that estimate in writing, please? Sure, I can print that out for you. And what is the turnaround time? Can you finish it today? I have to order the part. It won't be here until tomorrow morning, so you will have to stay overnight. Okay, do you know a cheap hotel nearby? And scene. Good job, Mark. That was painful to hear, $800 and staying overnight. But that is real life. And notice how Mark asked, "Can I get that in writing?" That is your protection. And I also asked about a hotel. That is another good tip. Mechanics often know the local area. If you are stranded, ask them, where is a safe place to stay nearby? So we have covered the breakdown, the call, and the mechanic. There is one more emergency situation we need to discuss quickly. It is not a breakdown, but it can be stressful. Getting stopped by the police. Oh yes, the flashing blue and red lights behind you. This usually happens if you are speeding, meaning driving too fast, or maybe you have a broken taillight. The most important thing here is to stay calm and be polite. First, pull over to the shoulder safely. Turn off your engine, roll down your window, and keep your hands on the steering wheel where the officer can see them. This is very important for safety in the US. The officer will come to your window and usually say, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" You can say, "No, officer, I am sorry." Then they will ask for 2 things, license and registration. License means your driver's license. Registration is the paper that proves who owns the car. If you rented the car, the rental agreement is your registration. You should say, "It is in the glove compartment. May I reach for it?" That phrase is excellent. May I reach for it? It shows you are being respectful and safe. You are asking permission to move your hands. And if you truly did not know you were doing something wrong, you can use the phrase, "I'm sorry, I am not from around here."
This explains that you might not know the local traffic rules. It does not mean you won't get a ticket, but it might help the officer be a little friendlier. Exactly. I'm sorry, I am not from around here. I didn't realize the speed limit changed. Honesty and politeness go a long way. So Mark, we have covered a lot of scary situations today. Breaking down, strange noises, tow trucks, expensive mechanics, and police officers. It feels like a horror movie for a traveler.
It does. But actually, Sarah, I think this is empowering. Empowering means it gives you power. Before this episode, if your car broke down, you would just panic. You would feel small and helpless. But now you have the words. You know how to say squeaking and grinding. You know how to ask for an estimate. You know how to tell the police you are reaching for your license. You have the tools to handle the problem. That is the perfect way to look at it. Fluency isn't just about having good conversations when things are going well. Real fluency is being able to handle life when things go wrong. It is about solving problems in your second language. And if you can handle a car breakdown in English, you can handle almost anything. I completely agree. So here is my challenge for our listeners this week. You probably have a car, or your family has a car. Go sit in the driver's seat. Look at the dashboard. Look at the lights. Do you know the English names for them? If you heard a noise today, how would you describe it? Practice saying these sentences out loud. The car is pulling to the right. The brakes are squeaking. And specifically, I want you to save 3 phrases in your phone right now. Open your Notes app. Write these down. Number 1, I am stranded on the highway. Number 2, can I get an estimate in writing? Number 3, what is the turnaround time? Having these 3 phrases in your pocket will make you feel so much safer on your next trip. And if you want to be even more prepared, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. We are building a whole library of videos that help you live your life in English. Not just the classroom stuff, but the real, messy, important stuff like today. If you hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon, you won't miss our next lesson where we talk about hotel problems. Oh, that's a good one. Dealing with a noisy hotel room or a dirty shower? You don't want to miss that. Exactly. So thank you so much for listening today. Drive safely, watch out for those warning lights, and keep practicing your English. See you next time, everyone. Bye. Bye.